Hello everybody, welcome back to Phoenix Wright Ace Attorney. Rise from the Ashes, this final case. We're had the longest investigation yet. I think it's going to get longer from, if I remember correctly. Oh boy. Which, if I remember correctly, these trials are long. The last trial is definitely long. This is a long case, so prepare yourself. And for that, we should really just get started. I am surprised there was a new mechanic in this case that I thought was introduced right away, but I guess I remembered wrong. How did the investigation go yesterday, Mr. Wright? Frankly, there's still a lot of gray areas. Or rather, the whole thing is one big gray area. Don't worry about me. No matter what the outcome, I'm ready to accept my fate. I believe in you, sis. Mr. Wright, let me offer you a word of advice. Yes? A defense attorney should never believe their client. The defendant is called to trial because they are suspected of wrongdoing. Never forget that. Miss Sky, you remind me a lot of Mia, but there is one decisive difference between you and her. And that is, you're not a defense attorney. I believe it's almost time for the trial. Good luck, Mr. Wright. Oh god. My first trial without a Faye helping me. No one's gonna bail me out this time. I'll be alone there. So I have to discover the truth all by myself. Let's do it, Mr. Wright. I'll be with you the whole way. Ba-da-ba-bum. February 23rd, 10 a.m., District Court, courtroom number 9. The court is now in session for the trial of Miss Lana Sky. Defense is ready, Your Honor. The prosecution has been ready for a while, Your Honor. Edgeworth. I haven't been in court to Edgeworth's trial. It's been a while now. I hope that personal feelings will not be a part of the proceedings today, Mr. Wright. I will choose the path I think is right, regardless of what those around me might say. The judgment is to be made here is in our hands, not those of anyone else. Very well, Mr. Edgeworth. Your opening statement, please. Chief Prosecutor Lana Sky has committed an unpardonable crime. Not only this, but she was rash enough to commit it in the prosecutor's parking lot. Wow, he's much more forceful in person. I certainly feel like confessing to everything. However, she will now pay for her rashness with her life. There was a witness to her crime. A professional witness. Well then, call your first witness, Mr. Edgeworth. Prosecution called this first witness, Miss Angel Starr, to the stand. The cough-up queen. Haven't I seen you somewhere? You ordered the caviar lunch, right? Ooh, caviar! I've never eaten caviar before. The judges were all really wolfing it down. And for you, I have a Fiesta Bowl. Thanks. Will the witness state her name and profession? Ah, and you, sir. Did you order the fingerprint lunchbox? It is too early for lunch. Your name and profession, please. Well, Your Honor, how does it taste? So this is why everyone raves about caviar. It's so tasty it hurts. We thought caviar would taste like pickled tapioca. What the heck is pickled tapioca? Thank you. Name, profession, now. I am done with this shit. Please, people, just give me your fucking names. The name is Angel Starr. Don't go forgetting it. I find myself running lunchline these days. Is that what you wanted me to say, Mr. Edgeworth? Well, witness, please describe the incident to us. The prosecution will wait. I'm not finished eating. Hurry it up. Well, Mr. Edgeworth, as you know, we usually call on the police to provide a description of the crime. Your Honor, as Mr. Edgeworth has said, as Mr. Edgeworth has said to the court, I am a professional. Huh. What exactly does that mean? Until 2 years ago, Miss Angel Star was a special investigator with the police. She was a first-rate homicide detective. What? Miss Star is a detective? Ah! I know who you are. Cough up. Cough up, Queen Angel Star. Your Honor, long time no see. Very well. You may continue with your description, Miss Star. Just who is this lady? If I might have the court's attention over here. The parking lot at the prosecutor's office is divided into 2 blocks. A block is for the prosecutor's office personnel. B block is for visitors and clients. A chain divider separates the 2 blocks. I suppose that's to keep visitors from taking up prosecutor's spaces, yes. The crime scene took place by a car in the back of A block, in the car's trunk. The killer stabbed the victim with a knife and went to drive the body out. Unfortunately for her, there was a witness and an arrest was made on the spot. And who was this valiant witness? Why, it was me, Your Honor. Witness, did you see the very moment of the crime? Of course, Your Honor. Immediately after that, I apprehended the chief prosecutor. It seems rather cut and dry, doesn't it? Well, Mr. Wright, I can't agree on principle, Your Honor. It seems that some poor losers are unwilling to accept the truth, Your Honor. Shall I proceed to crush what little hope they have remaining? If you can, then give them your worst, Miss Star. Oh, wait, are they talking about me? Whose side are you on? Judge, you're supposed to be neutral. Somehow, I always knew a day like this would come. I was on my way to deliver a lunchbox to my boyfriend, when I sensed something. Perhaps it was my finely honed detective instincts working. Then, through a wire fence, I saw a chief prosecutor standing next to a garaged car. The prosecutor was holding a knife in her right hand. Then she thrust the pointing tip of the knife into Detective Goodman's chest. That is where I need to press. Okay. Bringing a lunchbox to your boyfriend. How touching. As you can see, there is no room for doubt. The key point of your testimony seems to be nothing other than the point of the knife which you saw being stabbed in Detective Goodman. So how does it feel to be so utterly crushed? I'm still thinking about that. It's merely a flesh wound, Mr. Wright. Very well, Mr. Wright, you may cross-examine the witness. I remember where to press. Yeah. Hold it. This one. Tell me more about this knife that the suspect is carrying. Well, I'd say the blade was about 10 centimeters long. Is that right, Mr. Edgeworth? It is your knife, after all. Yes, that's about right. Prosecutors are, by nature, well-versed in the location of a man's vital organs. I'm sure it was easier than boiling an egg for my egg surprise salad. You can't testify as to their ability to kill an egg. I mean a person. Perhaps a chicken salad would have been a better metaphor. So the defendant was holding a knife, what then? Hold it! Tell the court why you didn't try to stop this crime. You did see a razor knife to strike, no? The defense has a point. Unfortunately, by the time I realized what was going on, it was already too late. Too late! Yes, the next moment, Chief Prosecutor brought down the murder weapon. I see. It's only a flesh wound, Mr. Wright. We can make it. You said that before. Anything else? Scientifically speaking, Mr. Testimony is flawless. Sounds pretty fatal to me. What do we do? Is this it? Is my sister guilty? Let's just keep our heads cool and press the witness a bit, shall we? For some reason you're panicking next to me makes me calmer. Don't smile like that. Oh! I thought that was what I had to press. How do you know? I respect the prosecutor's basic abhorrence of crime. Yet their methods are always ugly and twisted. Twisted methods will always lead to tragedy. The lunchman's uninformed opinion is duly noted. Given that they are used to erasing inconvenient evidence at their whim. Killing off a detective that knew too much is merely an extension of that. Miss Starr, do you have something personal against prosecutors? I felt that I had found my dream job when I became an investigator. And if I hadn't been laid off by those prosecutors over there, I'd still be one. Laid off? She was fired? To me, prosecutors are nothing more than worms. That said, I am a pro. As you know, my testimony is unbiased and flawless. Bullshit! You are the most biased witness I have seen yet. This boyfriend, he's a detective? Not that boyfriend, the security guard. That boyfriend? You have several? Yes, this boyfriend, that boyfriend, and the other boyfriend. Care to join? The yet another boyfriend position is still open for applicants. I'll stick with the one sex. Not to tell the dead had to think before applying. Yeah, but security guard room is unlocked. A block. It's up on the second level, so you can see everything from there. That'll be the room with the security sign. I think I just hit to press everything. Did you bring your lunchboxes by car? And I'm a visitor now. I parked in B block. So she was in B block when she witnessed the crime? You sensed something. So you're saying you had a premonition of the murder? It felt like... How would you say? Oh yes. It was like the feeling you get when you view a pumpkin chock full of seeds. I have no idea what that means. Speaking of detective instincts, wasn't the victim Mr. Bruce Goodman also a detective? Yes, well, he was like a young cheese. A young cheese? A pale white cheese, not yet tangy with experience on the streets. A greenhorn. Yeah, of course. I'm hard yellow, sharp as a tack. I think you stink too. In any case, there in the lot I felt something stirring in the back of my mind. Peter, through a wire fence, okay. By Gar's car, you mean? Mr. Edwards' car, yes. Mr. Edwards! Incidentally, the knife with the victim was stabbed with was also Mr. Edwards, wasn't it? Indeed it was. What an odd case this is. And the person you saw, you are sure was the defendant. I saw her from no further than 30 feet away. I'm certain it was her. If she's telling the truth, we're doomed. Let's just do what we can. Even if we don't have any proof, we can always complain. Witness, in your testimony, you clearly state the following. Prosecutors are nothing more than worms. Ergo, you are a biased witness. You might want to keep those silly opinions to yourself in the future, rookie. Huh? Rookie? Unless you're willing to risk the consequences of doubting me. I'll fry you like a fritter, crispy on the outside, chewy on the inside. That was inspiring, and that sounds delicious. I believe I've heard that tagline elsewhere. You could cry plagiarism? I may be relegated to the lowliest post of lunch lady, but my instincts are honed. A photograph! You took this! The moment I witnessed the crime, my reflexes took over, and snap, I took a picture. In fact, one of my lunchboxes is rigged with a camera. I suppose that's more exciting than just hanging around your neck. This is my first time seeing this photograph. You think I show it to you, a prosecutor? Think again. My boyfriend works in the photography division of criminal affairs. Was it most certainly the defendant? That is unmistakably Lana Sky. So what was the defendant doing at this time? Two prosecutors hold a knife in her right hand. Bullshit! I see no knife! You witnessed this? You saw Miss Sky stab the victim with a knife? As I've already said, yes. I swear it on my finest salmon swirl lunch. I'm sure that is a fine lunch. But isn't that odd? Look at this photograph. This is a photograph you took of the very moment of the crime, is it not? This is why Miss Sky... Then why is Miss Sky not holding the knife? Mr. Edgeworth, your thoughts? Objection. Let's be a little more careful with our evidence, shall we? It is you that need to be more careful, Mr. Wright. What do you mean, Mr. Edgeworth? This photograph was not taken the moment before the stabbing. This was taken the moment after the stabbing. How can you tell that? Blood spatter. Huh? See the dark crimson stain on the chief prosecutor's coat? It's a black and white photograph. Yes, it's hard to tell, but this could be blood. Well, Mr. Wright, I see no problem here. No problem, except you. Mr. Wright, are you gonna just sit there and take that kind of abuse? You got a better idea. Wait, that contradicts what the witness said in her testimony. Namely, that she took the picture the moment she witnessed the crime. Well, it seems that was slightly unclear. My apologies. That's it! Your testimony is about as raw and fishy as that damn salmon lunchbox. If you run out of lunch, you order seconds. Problem solved. If you don't like it, try ordering the jumbo-size lunch from the get-go. Good advice. I'm not sure I understand it, but good advice. I didn't have time to stop her. Prosecutor Sky was cold, calculating, like a robot. She killed without pain or remorse. It was a premeditated murder. Objection! Immediate contradiction. Look at the chief prosecutor's hands in that photograph. Well, all those gloves. Surgical gloves made of thin rubber, most likely. Why would she have those on? If it was not premeditated, she would not be wearing those gloves. These gloves do seem to tell premeditation. Premeditated murder, a serious offense. Witness, add this to your testimony. There was planned that bullshit because it's Edgeworth's knife. Witness, do you know what this is? Are you trying to test me? I sell box lunches for a living, you know. That's a knife. The knife. The knife that was in Mr. Edgeworth's trunk. Indeed, it is my knife. What's with this case? The bloody murder weapon? A red car? All belonging to the prosecutor there? The defendant's the chief prosecutor for the district, right? Mommy, are prosecutors bad people? Oh boy. The defense has a request. We ask that the witness provide an accurate testimony. What's that, rookie? In your testimony, you state that Lana Sky planned this murder, and that's why she was wearing those special gloves. Seems like a natural conclusion to me. The gloves do indicate planning. However, why did she not also prepare the most important thing? The murder weapon. Oh. This knife just happened to be in the trunk of that car. Ladies and gentlemen, if you're gonna plan a murder, you don't forget the weapon. You are the most bullshit testimony so far in this fucking game. Now time's turning in our favor. Great show, Mr. Wright. My sister's as good as free. Right. I believe the next lunch you'll be eating is humble pie. What? I hope you weren't deluding yourself into thinking that the tide has turned. Not over such a trifling detail. But this shoots a hole in the whole premeditated theory. Bah! The prosecution could care less if it was premeditated or not. The only one who seems to care is that lunch lady over there. The defendant, Lana Sky, murdered a detective with a knife. That is the only thing the prosecution need prove. Nothing else. Very good, Mr. Prosecutor. I suppose you think you're clever now. But you know as well as I do that she planned on killing him. It was planned. If she wasn't, why would she have been wearing? I believe I'd like to hear your testimony again. Witness, please tell us only what you saw, not what you thought. How dare you? My powers of deduction are not to be underestimated. Really now? God, I remember just how much I hate your testimony. Lana Sky intended to murder Detective Goodman. That's why she called the victim all the way to the prosecutor's office. I'm sure the chief prosecutor had a grudge against the victim. Nothing else could drive that human machine to punch the knife in again and again! Contradiction! The victim was summoned from the police department to the prosecutor's office. It does sound a lot like premeditation, doesn't it? So if I order pizza, does that mean I'm planning to kill a delivery boy? In any case, the defense may now cross-examine the witness. Nope. Nope! Nothing else regarding him machine upon the knife and again. But the autopsy report said that one knife wound. So why you always lying? You say she stabbed him again and again. But you couldn't have witnessed that. But why you gotta lie? You testing me? Then I'll test you. With my moss surprise. Ew. I'm afraid the moss is growing under our feet as we wait, Miss Starr. What do you mean? I shouldn't have to explain this, but take a look. The autopsy report states that death was due to a loss of blood from one stab wound. Aha! You're right! Good show, Mr. Edgeworth. What a hunk! He's my hero, really! What about my objection? No one noticed? Well, witness, you got the crime scene separate. Oh, thanks. I always believed that no one could ever mistake ketchup for blood, but now I realize that such mistakes are possible. So, you're saying you mistook something for blood? When she lifted her knife, I thought I saw blood at her breast. Splattered blood from her victim. That's why I thought she must have stabbed him at least twice. Then tell us what you saw that you thought was blood. Testify. Her red muffler looked like blood to me. That's how ghastly the whole scene was. Her red muffler? Yes, like a scarf. The chief prosecutor always wears one around her neck. I always referred to it as scarves. And I've never heard scarves as mufflers until I played this case for the first time. This is so new to me. She can be easily hanged at a moment's notice, I suppose. She's right. Miss Guy was wearing a red scarf, wasn't she? But wait, isn't it odd that you mistook that for splattered blood? Well, people often mistake my beard for a bib. A judge with a bib. That's why this place feels so much like kindergarten sometimes. Actually, I do think I saw some traces of blood on her chest. However, the autopsy report is clear on this matter. There was only one knife wound. Apparently, Miss Starr isn't entirely sure of her own testimony. Mr. Wright, this is our chance! Chance for what, I wonder? Miss Starr turned out to be as short-tempered as she looked when we met her. Challenging her abilities as a detective really set her off. The short wick burns out the fastest is a scientific fact. I wonder, wouldn't it depend on the size of the candle? I mean, I add more wax and even a really short wick will burn longer. Obviously, more scientific testing is required. Her red muffler looks like blood to me. I don't see it in this photo. Miss Starr, I demand an explanation. The witness is clearly not suited for detective work. Ouch! The suspect was not wearing a scarf or muffler of any kind when she stabbed the victim. And you proved it yourself with this photograph. But that can't be! Only a true professional could be so clueless. I'm sure you'll make a good lunch lady, have no fear. Harsh words, but good. In the end, Mr. Edgeworth prevails. What was my objection? Chopped liver? But it was there, a scarf. No, not that, but something red. Really? Well now, where were we? The witness has given us an entertaining interlude. Now back to business. What? Very well, witness, continue your testimony. You saw the crime and apprehended the suspect. Tell us about that. Very well. I do remember some things accurately, at least. Do you? Your whole fucking thing is fishy. The most important part, the part where your sister stabs the victim. This next testimony might just be the moment of truth. After the murder, the suspect attempted to run behind a partition off to her side. I quickly called her, explained her rights, sir, and arrested her on the spot. Ah, yes, when I arrested her, she mentioned the muffler. That's what had me confused in my earlier testimony. The chief prosecutor made to escape, but resistant against Angel Starr Resistance is futile. Blah. I ruined that whole sentence. You're quite determined about this scarf, aren't you? I strike like a snake and bite like a cobra. They're both types of snakes. That was not a very good metaphor. First of all, a cobra is a kind of snake. Thank you! Don't bother me with details unless you want to get bitten. No, thanks. Note to self, Attorney Wright gets bitten by a snake. The chief prosecutor tried to resist, but her efforts were in vain. She knocked my hand aside, kicked over an oil drum. Oil drum? Hard to imagine. Oh, she's beautiful, but deadly. A predator, this one. A leopard woman. Wow. Well, Mr. Wright, your cross-examination, if you will. So, where's this partition on the floor plans? I'm sure she means this wall next to the car. That's right. There was a wall there about 6 feet high. She was obviously trying to hide herself. What a natural thing for a criminal to do. And what did you do then? Okay. You say quickly, were you close to the suspect? As I just said, I was only 30 feet away from her the whole time. Maybe I should press her for more details. I like to see this on the floor plans just to be safe. The lunchtime car was. She was a visitor, thus she was parked in Block B. So you witnessed the murder from here. That would make it about 30 feet from the car, yes. Is that correct, Miss Starr? Well, your mouth's fine, it just disconnected for some reason. That was weird. Yes, that's right. But there was a chain link fence in front of you. I went over it, of course. Amazing! The Cough-Up Queen Lunchland athlete, indeed. We're about to die again! Why is it doing this? I would have taken her a little more time to climb over the fence, but she couldn't have gotten to my sister that fast. The fence is about 9 feet high, too. How come Miss Sky didn't get away? She mentioned the muffler? What exactly did she say? If I remembered exactly, I would have told you in my testimony. Cheeky! Anyway, all I heard her say was the word muffler. Just that one word? So what you heard wasn't the suspect talking to you, but to someone else? Yes, the chief prosecutor was talking on her phone. You mean her cell phone? By phone, do you mean the cell phone discovered at the crime scene? Yes, ultimately. Ultimately? My memory... It's like a salmon heading upstream, you see. No, the court doesn't see, Miss Starr. The chief prosecutor first attempted to use the phone hanging on the wall. On the wall. That's right. Near the car, there was an emergency phone on the wall. Apparently it was out of order. And so she used her cell phone. Indeed, the emergency phone was out of order that day. Good witnessing, witness. Good witnessing? Whatever happened to my good testifying? You should, of course, add this to your testimony. Things I do to please this rookie defense attorney. Do you think you could restate your testimony for the court? Oh, I was going to ask the same thing. I'll only say this one time, so listen close, rookies. Oh, my throat is starting to actually dry up. It hurt. The chief prosecutor stabbed the victim and ran behind the partition. And she picked up the emergency phone. Okay, you couldn't have seen that from where you were. That's a contradiction. Yeah, I don't need to hear this. I figured out the contradiction. You saw her doing this? The floor plans. I have to conclude that you have a personal grudge against Miss Lana Scott. The witness is a former detective. Her testimony is unmarred by personal bias. Bullshit! But who would have thought you would be my knight in shining armor, prosecutor? You who, together with the chief prosecutor, kicked me out 2 years ago. Well, Miss Starr, there's a fatal contradiction with your testimony. How do you explain this? I don't know what you're talking about. Mess with me, and I'll make you cough it all up. Let's take a look at the floor plans. You said you witnessed the crime from this point. However, if that's true, you couldn't possibly have seen Miss Sky making that phone call. I believe you see what I'm getting at. That emergency phone was on the back side of the partition. If indeed you were in B block, you couldn't have seen it. Order! What is the meaning of this? It's simple, Your Honor. She's not coughing up lunch, she's coughing up lives. That's quite a claim, Mr. Wright. Perhaps you will allow me a question. Tell us exactly why the witnesses told the court, and here's where the counterattack begins. Let's get her. The witness lied about where she saw it. Tried to use the emergency phone, but it was out of order. What is significant about this fact? Nothing. It would be pointless for her to lie about it. Pointless to lie? I see. The witness did actually see Miss Sky using the emergency phone. In other words, Miss Starr witnessed the crime from a different location. A different location? Now that is a pointless lie if I've ever heard one. Before you call my lie pointless, at least let me tell it. Let me ask a question to our clever wordsmith, Mr. Wright. Just where was the witness when she saw the crime? I will gladly show you.
Take that!
This is the only place where she could have been. The security guard room. Indeed, the security guard room in the underground parking lot is well positioned. It's built on the second level so you can see the entire lot. She would have been able to see the emergency phone from there. But why there? There are many other places where she could have seen the phone. Not in this case, Your Honor. The witness, not being part of the prosecutor's office, couldn't park in A block. The only place where she could have seen the crime and the back of the partition is here. I remember your testimony. You said you brought a lunch to your boyfriend in the security guard room, yes? Well, Miss Starr, how many years have I been getting the better of men? To think that the tables could be turned. Today, a man has gotten the better of Angel Starr. Order! Witness, what have you done? You used to be a detective. You should know better. I'm not turning back. The guilty will be punished, and I'll do what I must to make sure that justice prevails. The guilty? She's talking about Miss Sky? Mr. Wright, doesn't this strike you as odd? Why Miss Starr lie? It doesn't make sense. She could have just said she saw the crime from the security guard station. It wouldn't change anything. Exactly. This photograph tells all. It was the defendant who stabbed the victim. That truth still stands. It still stands? I disagree, Mr. Edgeworth. What? If a witness is found to be lying, they're guilty of perjury. She knows this. She wouldn't risk that without a good reason. So tell us what her reason was, Mr. Wright. Me? Who else? Mr. Wright, let's review what we know. Okay. Miss Starr witnessed the crime scene from the security guard station, yeah. But she lied and said she saw it from B block. It must make a vital difference, but what? What would it change? The distance of the crime. It changed the distance between her and the scene of the crime. My condolences, Mr. Wright, but one look at the floor plans and it's quite clear. The distance between the scene of the crime and the guard station is 30 feet. I don't see how that would change what she could see. What she saw is not in question here. What matters at the time it would take her to reach the scene of the crime. Miss Starr, you witnessed the crime to the security guard station. Now how long did it take you to go from there to the scene of the crime where you arrested Miss Sky? Well, witness, you You ordered the squid wheels, right? The quality of my lunches has gone from low to inedible. I was bringing a PB&J lunch with fresh boysenberry jam to my boyfriend. We're out. We're out. Boysenberry for the boyfriend. He wasn't in the station, so I waited. I witnessed the crime from the glass wall of the station. And before I knew what I was doing, I found myself running toward the scene. But the door was locked. I couldn't open it. Oh, much further along. Wow. Ugh. Jeez, yawning. God. That's why I had to go through the visitors' parking lot in Block B. That's quite a detour. It probably took me at least 5 minutes to get to the scene of the crime. 5 minutes? It's changing things considerably. But it was that woman over there in the defendant's chair who stabbed him. I know it. I have photographic evidence. I swear it. I swear it on my finest plastic spork. You have a point, and a spork is a wonderful invention. Would you like another caviar lunch? Absolutely. Mr. Wright, you have to do something. Any end to stop this.
Objection!
I should check mine. 5 minutes between the witness of the murder and the arrest. Think about it. You can make pasta in that amount of time, if you like it al dente. I got lunch boxes that tie pasta into knots, rookie. A 5-minute blank. Isn't that strange? Strange. If you were a criminal, what would you do with 5 minutes, Your Honor? Well, I guess I'd flee the scene. Hey! Don't get the wrong idea. I didn't kill anyone. But you have the instincts of a killer. You would run. But this time was different. Miss Sky died at the scene of the crime. She even had her picture taken. No true criminal would act this way. It's inconceivable. Well then, it seems we've come to the end of this testimony. She has a grudge against the defendant, and there is a blank in her testimony. Mr. Edgeworth is the next witness ready to go. Unfortunately, I appear to have overestimated this witness on account of her professional history. We did it! We screwed that can shut, Mr. Wright. That was too close. Screwed shut. It only took 37 minutes. Wow, that took not as... That felt like this has been going on for a fucking hour. I'm afraid that the call for Queen has been dethroned. And with that, court is adjourned. Mr. Edgeworth, you ordered the squid wheels, right? That's the ones you tried to foist off on me. I prefer to not take the defense team's leftovers. Anything else to say? I might be able to save you. I have decisive evidence. What was that? It's another one of her trick lunchboxes. My apologies, but we have no further questions to ask of you, Miss Starr. It's your jumbo lunchbox. Woohoo! A triple-decker! Out of deference to the witness's determination, I'll allow one more testimony. Let's hear about this decisive evidence. Like the lunchman mouse says, you won't be disappointed. What's she gonna pull out of her lunchbox this time? I should have mentioned those 5 minutes when I wasn't looking at the crime scene. And now, to the match of the victim's shoe. Did I not bring this up? 2 types of blood were found in this shoe. One was, of course, the victim's, and the other was the defendant, Miss Hannah Sky's blood. This shoe proves it. It's flawless decisive evidence. What? There was blood found on that shoe? Try Lunchland for all your lunch and decisive evidence needs.
Objection!
Witness, what's the meaning of this? Why is this the first time I've heard of this evidence? Simple, as I've already said. I don't trust you with evidence, Mr. Edgeworth. That's why I took the liberty of investigating this myself. And you had blood tests performed? Didn't I mention I have 3 boyfriends in forensics. In any case, Your Honor, I can't accept this as evidence. What? You must know the 2 rules of evidence law. Rule number 1. No evidence shall be shown without the approval of the police department. In other words, this shoe is illegal evidence, at least for the time being. Is that right, Mr. Wright? It seems so. I just present evidence all the time without no one caring. Now it's being brought up. Not so fast, Mr. Redworth. Don't forget, I used to be a detective. As I mentioned previously, this shoe has already been tested by a member of the forensics department. As you can see, it was approved by the police department as of today. Even the general public can produce official evidence, Mr. Edgeworth. Is that right, Mr. Wright? It seems so. Edgeworth is looking pretty solid. You gotta study some evidence law, really. Prosecution's complaints notwithstanding, it appears that this evidence satisfies the first rule of evidence law. Well, it seems you have yet another count against you, witness. You think to ensure that the guilty are properly judged. Very well, Mr. Wright. Yawn! Fuck! Why did you lie about those 5 minutes? I guess you could say, I just wanted people to look at the results. The results? How many times do I have to say this? I saw the chief prosecutor stab the victim before my very own eyes. Compared to that, a 5-minute blank means nothing. Then why didn't you just tell the truth? Don't make me laugh. We're dealing with the most untrustworthy of a lot known as prosecutors. Falsified evidence, erased testimonies, erasing and manipulating evidence. When you fight monsters, you need to use every trick in the book. This one, the suspect is admitting she did it. False testimony is the most despicable crime of all, Miss Shaw. Let's just get this over with. Can I throw out your whole damn testimony? Shit! You found this shoe at the scene of the crime? I detained the chief prosecutor and notified the police department. I wanted to make myself useful while I was waiting for the police to arrive. So like an ill-trained pooch, you snuck off with the shoe. I was afraid someone would erase the chief prosecutor's crime. The shoe was my secret weapon if that should happen. See this fashionable basket I have here? It carries more than lunchboxes, gentlemen. I'm happy for you and your lunchbox bag, really. In any case, you removed valuable evidence from the scene of the crime. Now tell us what you did next. So you brought it to the forensics department. If you're going to submit something as evidence in court, you need it approved. To do that, evidence must be analyzed by a forensic expert. And she got away with her little coup because she used to be a detective. The shoe does appear to have bloodstains on it. Makes sense. After all, a man was stabbed here. And that blood belonged to the victim, Detective Goodman. As I said, there were 2 types of blood found on the shoe. I think I just pressed everything. You can't say for sure that the blood belongs to the victim without a blood test. You claim to know something about blood tests, rookie? Huh? Well, speak up. Well, blood comes in 4 types. A, B, O, and AB. However, you can't tell from blood tests whether a murder was performed in cold blood. That's just a figure of speech, Mr. Wright. Actually, if you combine all the various blood tests, there are millions of types. It's practically impossible to narrow down a blood sample to one person. Or so I hear. Millions of types? If I had a little more time, I would have gotten DNA test results. But they said there's very little doubt it could have been anyone but Miss Lana Skies. The suspect's blood was found in the victim's shoe. That ties her directly to the death of Detective Goodman. I was afraid he was going to say that.
Hold it!
I have to look at it. There's blood here too! On the sole of the shoe? It's got to be the victim's. He must have stepped in a puddle of his own blood. All this blood, it's horrible. This blood might be an important clue. Yeah, it's a little weird. This blood is my sister's, right? It appears so. Mom's right hand was bandaged when I saw her in jail. She must have cut herself at the time of the crime. Poor sis. Now. You're the peppered fish cuts, right? What the heck does that taste like? Some like it hot, Mr. Wright. Some, like your client, choose enough hot water to make a whole batch of soup. Mr. Wright, do you or don't you have a problem with this shoe? I do. The non-manning things I say there's one critical problem with this evidence. Their contradiction. That gleam in your eyes. You're still young, rookie. I'd give you a pepperfish gun now, but you couldn't handle the heat, could you? Let's hear what Mr. Wright has to say. What is contradictory about the victim's shoe? The problem is the blood on the bottom.
Take that!
I wonder if you noticed. There's blood on the bottom of the shoe. Don't mess with me, rookie, or it'll be your blood on the bottom of my shoe. Indeed, there was quite a bit of blood on the bottom of this shoe. It makes sense. The victim was stabbed with a knife. Could possibly be contradictory about the blood on the bottom of the shoe. I don't see blood in this picture. The problem lies in the footprint. The footprint? Note that the bottom of the victim's shoe is covered in blood. Then, isn't it strange? Why weren't any body footprints found by the scene of the crime? As you can see, there have been no trace of any such footprints at the scene of the crime. That contradicts your claim about this shoe. This picture only shows part of the floor, so there could have been bloody footprints. If there were bloody prints, they would have been found. We checked the scene and found nothing of the sort. We checked the scene because the police department cannot seem to do their fucking job. Great going, Mr. Wright, but it's true that the lack of a footprint is a contradiction, but then we have to ask why there wasn't a footprint. Oh. That's true, there has to be a reason why there wasn't a footprint. Think, Mr. Wright, think. Hey, I don't know why it's not there. I'm just good at finding contradictions. What? I see. Now I get it. Yeah, what? All witnesses are more devious than I gave her credit for. We were hoodwinked to the very end. But she slipped. There was one vital hint to the truth in her testimony. What are you talking about? Think back to when she told us about apprehending the suspect. The chief prosecutor tried to resist, but remained nominated inside, kicked over an oil drum. She's beautiful but deadly, a predator, this one. Leper woman, yep. I thought that was a strange thing for the normally cool-headed chief to do. No kidding. Now, witness, allow me to ask a very simple question. This oil drum, was it empty? Oh, that. I'm not sure I like your attitude, Mr. Edgeworth. Well, apparently, you're not the slowest conveyor belt in the lunchbox factory. Witness, well, but the oil drum empty. The oil drum kicked over by the chief prosecutor was brimming with water. Water? What does that mean? Still don't get it, Mr. Why am I yawning so much? Do you want to know the reason she knocked it over? The real reason? Aha, you don't mean. Yes, the suspect knocked over that oil drum for one reason and one reason alone. To erase the blood stains that would become evidence against her. That ties things up quite nicely. Blood stains left on the victim's shoes tie her quite clearly to this murder. Then, after the deed was done, she knocked over the oil drum to erase the telltale signs. But that's the prosecutor's specialty, erasing evidence. That reminds me, Miss Sky's right hand was her. Didn't she say she cut herself and she stabbed him? So my sister's blood on the shoe. That's when it happened? Well, I see no reason to belong this trial. Mr. Wright, do something, please. What? What can I do? Your sister has confessed to the crime and she's tried to conceal it, but... Enough. There is no need for further debate. The verdict, Your Honor. Very well. But Inga starts on the prosecution side. She could have been lying about the water. This court finds a defendant missile in the sky. Little girl, what did you just say? Me? Did you say that I, Angel Star, was on the prosecution side? Well, yeah, you are. You're saying my sister hid evidence by erasing the bloody footprints. Oh. I thought you'd have your fill, but here you are demanding a second helping. Another lunchbox. A lunchbox called evidence. Wait, witness, don't tell me of something else. You have reached your verdict, Your Honor. Any further comments will be held in contempt of court. Your threats don't scare the Coffer Queen. Look at this. A photograph. I had this just in case anyone had the gall to suggest that the white shoe didn't belong to the victim. I see no room for error in this evidence. Mr. Wright, wait. Look at the asphalt in this photo. It's clearly wet. Erasing the last trace of doubt in the court's mind. Immediately after the murder, the crime scene was washed with water. I'm sorry, Mr. Wright. I guess I couldn't help after all. It's not your fault. I knew I couldn't win this case from the beginning. And it seemed this is what your sister wanted anyway. I'm sorry, Mia. Right, wet or not. Don't be so quick to throw in the towel. Get yourself all over the asphalt, take another good look. Don't give up. Not until the bitter end. This is the last piece of evidence. Very well, this time I'd like to declare a verdict for good.
Objection!
There it is. Your Honor, wait. What is it with you people? Can't I hand down my verdicts in peace anymore? Whatever it is, can it wait? No, it can't. Then it will be too late. Look at this photograph, the last one submitted. This trial isn't over until we give these pieces of evidence proper consideration. So, Wright, are you saying there's a problem with this latest piece of evidence? Yeah, I'll think later. There's a problem. Right or wrong, I gotta go ahead with this. I suppose since we've come this far, we should give every claim a fair shake. I figured it out. It is the wet asphalt or the shoe? Which one?
Take that!
Well, it's probably... okay. No one's falling for your bluffs. Oh, no, I meant to write... Yeah, okay, it was the shoe. It's the shoe. Sorry.
Take that!
What do you mean? Wait, I thought it was the shoe.
Take that!
The problem in this photograph is here. What's this? Like, I thought my problem was that, like, why does it still have blood on it when it fell into the water? But I guess not. There's something poking out of the car's muffler. Wait just a moment, Mr. Edgeworth. Your Honor? You just said muffler. However, I see no trace of a muffler or scarf of any kind in this photograph. A muffler is also part of the car or motorcycle, Your Honor, which is what I normally think of mufflers. Just think of it as part of the exhaust system, a pipe. I see, and I see. What's that suspicious-looking claw sticking out of the car's muffler? So what if there's something sticking out of the muffler? What does that have to do with this case? Nothing. Absolutely nothing. Sorry, Miss Starr, but it's not gonna be that easy. In fact, you've already told us why it is important to the case. You said as much as your testimony. What? But did you hear what Mr. Wright has on his mind? Tell us why you think this pizza fell open. this one. Miss Starr, recall your testimony for the court. Ah, yes, when I mentioned her, she mentioned a muffler. That's what had me confused in my earlier testimony. Muffler. Could it be that the muffler you heard mentioned was actually this exhaust pipe? If so, that means this piece of cloth is vital evidence. Wow, it seems we'll have to suspend the proceedings. Suspend? I find myself wondering about that piece of cloth. If we leave any question unanswered here, we do a disservice to the law. Have the car at the crime scene inspected at once and bring me that cloth. The verdict will wait until after we've seen all the evidence. Agreed? I suppose so. That was close. But we made it. At least for now. Somehow. The court will adjourn for a 30-minute recess. It's lunchtime after all. He's still hungry? To be continued. This is the first time we're actually getting the trial to take a break with the to be continued. So next part will also be the trial again and not investigation. So see you next time.